Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask Podcast Live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. You know how we do. So I always have to have something for you to, be involved in. So today I have a nice plethora of guests to have you entertained with and some resources that you will need in the future, if not now. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on my introduction because you know I am. It's kind of long there. But I want to introduce you to two ladies who are working very hard into helping our communities understand research. So some of the programs that we are involved in, ladies and gentlemen, actually give you an opportunity to do some research or to be engaged in research. So today we're setting up to talk with Healthier Black Elder Center. Okay, we have two guests from the Healthier Black Elder Center, Amanda Horn and Wilma Stringer. Without further ado, here they are. Hey, Amanda and Wilma, how you doing?
Hi.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you, ladies, both for joining me today.
Thank you for
Pleasure's
having
mine.
us.
Okay. So I know you somewhat are familiar with what we do here at Just Ask, and we've had the opportunity to speak to some of your staff members before in reference to the Healthier Black Elder Center. So I want to get a recap. Amanda, can you give us a start up of what is the Healthier Black Elder Center?
Yeah. So we are actually out of Wayne State University here in Detroit within the Institute of Gerontology. And our program, it aims to address looking at health disparities in older African Americans through two different avenues. One of those is through health education, and the other is through encouragement of participating in research. So we have lots going on with those two avenues all the time and within the city of Detroit. And I will touch on a little bit of that in just a moment. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Nope. Excuse me. Nope. That's fine. So, Wilma, what is your partake into this program?
Okay, I am on the Community Advisory Board. I'm a member of the board. I am also part of their participant research pool. That is a database of potential research projects participants. I have participated in a research project and I help recruit participants. I review applications for access to our database. Um, and I
Okay.
just, do these kinds of things with staff members to
Okay.
let people know about the importance of research with older African Americans and with a diversity of people across the demographic spectrum because it makes for just simply better science.
That's good. That's good. That sounds really nice. So, ladies, I know that a lot of people, as we start to age, like to stay at home, or they say, "Well, I don't know anything to get involved in." And I do know that you all have a lunch and learn program. So, Amanda, fill us in about the lunch and learn.
Yeah, so our lunch and learns, we host these all around the city of Detroit. They cover a variety of different health topics, and we choose those based off of community feedback, feedback from our community advisory members, and then if there is just maybe a very important topic
Okay.
during that time frame, we like to try and really just share as much information as we can. So, like I said, these are all around the city of Detroit. We have about
Okay.
8 to 10 of these a year, and we do like to do them in person. Um, so, at these events, what will end up happening is we find a presenter, and then we will have resource tables with our community partners. We do try to tie those into the topic of
Mm-hmm.
the lunch and learn itself. And then we have free health screenings, and we give a healthy box lunch to all of our attendees.
Okay.
These events are free and open to everyone.
Okay, great.
So they're a great way to get social, be social, and also just get involved.
So I do have one of the flyers I want to bring up, and this one is why join the Healthier Black Elder Center. So Amanda, can you kind of briefly give us the reason why people should join?
Yeah. So, one of the reasons is what I just mentioned with the lunch and learns.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great way to gain access to information about various health topics. Um, and then you're also able to gain access to subject matter experts, which means you're able to get questions answered that you may have. And it's in a much more informal setting. So it's it's sometimes easier
Well,
to
I know one thing.
interact that way.
I know one thing, looking at this flyer, I left it up so that people can actually, get a chance to get the QR
Yeah.
code or the phone number. But looking up here and it says connection with, HBEC boosters over 1,000, 1,100 members and growing,
Yes.
representation and safety, our community advisory board, health education. The more we know, the better we live. That's so true. Okay, and
Yes.
compensation, excuse me, your time and effort to is important to us. No clinical trials because a lot of people
Yep.
think that this is a setup to to get something for nothing. Oh yeah, so
Yes.
then all studies
Yeah.
are voluntary. And so if all studies are voluntary, if you choose to come and you change your mind, you're not held accountable. You can say
Right.
never
Yes,
mind. Okay,
exactly, exactly.
okay,
And also to expand just a little on that, for somebody who is interested in becoming a member, something that I like to share with them is all of our researchers like to join us at our lunch and learns. So they are accessible to our members and also just people who come to the events. They're
great.
able to ask questions, learn more about a study
Hmm.
if they are interested in participating. And even with our members, if they're ever contacted by a researcher that we work with and they just don't feel like participating, no means
Okay.
no. And that's that.
That's that. That's that.
Yeah.
Now, Wilma, this question is for you, really. So, why should older adults participate? Because I know you've been involved in quite a few. So, why should older adults participate?
In the normal scheme of things, often younger researchers simply don't know a pool of older people. Depending on their life circumstances, a lot of their older relations might be ill or in another place or even dead. So it's difficult. But as I said earlier, for good science, you need a broad range of data to address a lot of issues. Also, let's say for specific conditions that are more prevalent with older people, diabetes, cardiovascular issues, cognitive issues, the more data you have, and just statistically, the more data you have, the better, the clearer, more accurate your results. If
Hmm.
you're studying a phenomenon and you have like two people as opposed to 150,000 people, the more people you have, the clearer the picture you'll be able to get. The broader your range of participants, broader the demographics, the clearer
Okay.
your picture will be. So that's why particularly older African Americans need to participate in research projects so that
Okay.
we can get a fuller picture of a phenomenon.
All right. Well said. Well said. So, Amanda, now, um, at some point, let me see, at some point, when people are engaging, do some people feel uncomfortable? Like, you get people say, I don't know if I should do that, or I don't know if I should be involved.
Absolutely.
How do you get them to overcome? A lot of people don't realize that being involved or engaging in activities keep your mind going. It makes you stay youthful in a certain degree. Maybe do something to you physically to a certain degree, because the more engagement that you're doing, the better health to me you have, especially when you get a chance to come outside, get some fresh air, oxygen to the brain. You're getting treated to a nice lunch or refreshment. You're meeting new people to discuss things that you thought only you knew or wasn't sure of.
Mhm.
You feel safe in your environment. So I'm saying this to say to hopefully our viewers who are watching, they are learning that this particular program right here has got your back. It's something that you
Indeed.
should be involved in so that you
Indeed.
can feel good about getting up in the morning, putting on your clothes, going to a setting that says, I have a question, and somebody can answer that question for
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Okay, I think I
Yes.
answered my own question, didn't I? Okay, okay. Well, what I'm saying is that
We
it
have a place for you.
Yeah.
okay, 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 okay. Thank you, woman.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
well, what I'm saying is that after the pandemic, we went through a whole lot, and people were just shut down, and then some of them are still shut down. And
Hmm.
now we
Yeah.
trying to figure out, do we bring back the mask? And some people are still wearing masks, but we want
Hmm.
people to be
Yeah.
engaged and involved in activities and in research and whatever it is, so that they can still have their cognitive mind clear, their body still moving and functioning, no matter what it is. I think it's an honor just for me to get up and put on clothes in the morning. I'm like, what we wearing
Oh
today?
wow.
Okay, okay.
Hey.
So
Yep.
so I'm very honored to have you ladies talk to us today, and hopefully we will be able to support this event by having more people view this show and say, hey, I got to go over there, or I got to call and see if I can come to one of these lunch and learn sessions. Okay. So I want to bring up one of these sessions, and this is to me one of the most important ones. Not saying one of the, because a lot of seniors,
Agree.
you know, after a certain age, they're like, well, I don't care about brushing my teeth, caring for my
Hmm.
teeth, or I don't have no teeth, or or I'm afraid to go to the dentist. So which one of you ladies want to chime in on the oral health and aging lunch
I
and
I'll
learn?
take
can.
that. Go ahead.
So I am the community outreach coordinator for the Healthier Black Elder Center. So I am the front runner when it comes to planning these events, finding speakers, getting feedback from attendees, and making sure that these events are enjoyable, and informative for folks to attend. So, um, with an important topic like this, there's a lot of things that we can explore. And what's nice about our lunch and learns is that just because we don't cover a specific topic that falls under oral health and aging doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean we won't cover that in
Okay.
another lunch and learn, especially if it ends up being a very popular topic. So for this one, we have what I think is a really cool kind of crossover with our speaker, who's actually from Michigan State University through their extension office, and their background is in nutrition. And something that we often don't think about is the connection between what we are consuming and how that impacts our oral health as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a whole little activity that's going to help with visualization, and we're putting together some informational packets as well to talk about, what are some of the larger concerns for older adults and oral health, and what to kind of keep in mind, and how you can also kind of combat these concerns
Okay.
as
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. That's good. We're gonna put these back up, but I left it up there for a little while so people can get the information and know that they're. And this one's in Southfield at that. Okay, so we're gonna be.
Yes.
So I'm going to the next one, which this one will be in May. So that first one was April 17th. The next one would be after that will be May 8th. And ladies and gentlemen, as you see these dates now, you can always register at any time. They want you to register early. That way they have a nice head count for that beautiful lunch and activities and things like that. And if you notice on the screen, viewers that these locations are different. So the first one was Southfield. This one is Farwell Recreation Center on East Outer Drive. So it's moving around. So don't think that, oh, I can't go to that one. It's too far or there. That's not my area. You can go to all of them. Attend all of them. Okay, so let's talk about this brain and what's the reliance and aging.
Yes, so brain resilience in aging. Brain health is a very popular topic amongst our members, and we also are able to work with the Michigan Alzheimer's and Related Dementia Research Center on this lunch and learn. So we have a great speaker who's going to be talking about resilience, brain
Mm-hmm.
resilience, and how we can exercise our brains as we age, which helps our overall cognitive brain health, things that may be normal or not normal. And
Okay.
there's a lot on social media these days that kind of advertise, oh, this is going to help keep your brain young, but it's a little misleading. And so that is a topic that this
Okay.
presenter is very well versed in. And they're also one of our researchers that we work with as
Mm-hmm.
well. So they have a study that they're currently recruiting for through our
Okay.
program. So um, it's going to be a great lunch and learn. Do
Now I
you have
want
anything to
people.
add, Wilma?
No, I think you covered it very well.
Good.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up a couple of the photos because I want people to see the groups, registering, things like that. So this photo here of the group of ladies, is this the registration?
So this is actually some folks who are visiting resource tables at our March Lunch and Learn, which was at the Hellman Recreation Center over on the east side. This was looking at various technology resources. So all of our resource tables were focusing on technology. If somebody has a technology course that helps older adults kind of become more familiar with
Okay.
various pieces of technology. That's kind of what the focus was on. And we partnered with one of our scientists at the Institute of Gerontology, Dr. Carrie Leach, with this event as well.
Okay.
So we had a great turnout,
I see.
especially because
I
it was
see.
raining and snowing and really
Yeah.
windy that day.
Yeah, I wanted to bring these photos up so our viewers can see, you guys' commitment to educating and supporting, our elders. And definitely by this program being Healthier Black Elders, Center, you want to focus in on the fact that the diversity is there, okay, and the resources are available. So that's very important. Very, very important. And I thank you, ladies, for those photos as well. I do have one about chronic pain. So it seemed like you guys line them up for, like you said, based on subject matters that people are interested in. Is that right, Amanda?
Mhm.
That, that's
Okay.
correct.
So this one is in
Yes.
June, and this one is chronic pain and management. You sure that shouldn't have been first? But that's that's okay. Okay. Okay.
Well, that's a good point. And it kind of just ended up being in June because that's when we were able to partner with Gilda's Club and their Metro Detroit location. And
Mm-hmm.
this is a new partnership that we've been developing, and it just happened through word of mouth. And we found that our platforms really align well, and we found a topic that can help meet a lot of needs, not just maybe in a medical sense, but the informational sense. So we have two speakers for this event. One of them is from Henry Ford, and they specialize in alternative approaches to pain management, like
Mm-hmm.
acupuncture. So they are a specialist in that through Henry Ford. And then we also have some folks from the Recovery Project who will be joining us as well to
Okay.
talk about more mainstream approaches on addressing chronic pain and pain management, which this topic, it isn't limited to one health condition.
Right.
So
That's
that's
good.
what makes it so important to kind of cover because it's not just one thing. It can
And
happen at any time and for a lot of different reasons.
but this one is at Durfee, the Durfee
Yes,
Innovation Society. Okay. And you
that
guys
is
moved them.
correct.
You've moved them around very well so that people can, get to those locations, pretty much, and that's good. That's good. So now, Wilma, how many of these programs have lunch and learn segments have you been involved in?
A lot.
Okay.
I'm pretty. No, really. What I normally do with Amanda is when she presents her schedule for the spring and the fall, I let her know that I will, you know, participate and support her in all of them. And I try to make everyone, if I'm in town and I'm not in class that day, I'm there.
That's great. That's great. That's great. All right. All
And
right.
it's
You.
great for me because, one, I get to talk, I get a little closer access to researchers. And I can
Mhm.
ask them maybe questions that might be maybe tangential to what other people might want to know, but I'm interested in. So
True, true,
that's
true.
kind of cool for
Look,
me.
and you might get their personal phone number and they say, call me later. We can talk about this. I got you. So
By the way, that has happened. Can we meet for lunch? And we
that,
actually did, and it
that's
was
right.
great.
That's right.
It
That's
was
right. That's
great.
how friendship starts. That's how friendship starts. That's great. That's great. That's great. Now, so like in the past, I mean, do you see, Amanda? Do you see the groups growing though? The connection with the
Yeah,
communities, are they growing?
yeah,
Yes, I've
yeah,
been in this position for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in May. And since I have been working on the lunch and learns and working on recruitment for our research registry as well, I've had to look for larger spaces to accommodate our lunch and learns because we've had such a positive response and an excited response to our lunch and learn topics. People want to come, they're excited to come, and they also want to bring their friends, which we love and we encourage as well. So we've had to start looking for larger spaces that are still accessible and safe. To accommodate those as well. And looking back over the past couple of years, the amount of engagement that we've had, it has truly grown, which is great. That's what we're here for, and we're trying to reach as many folks as possible.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job. Very, very well. So let me ask you this. You guys are grant funded.
Yes.
Okay.
We are funded through the National Institute of Health, and we have been continuously funded for about the last 27, maybe 28 years almost. And so we are a part of what is called the Michigan Center for Urban African American Aging Research.
Mm.
So we're one of the I believe it's 18 or 19 centers for aging research across the United States. And we are also one of the most active
yeah,
centers with our
yeah.
programming as well. Um, so that that has made what we do very, very important.
It is. It is, especially if the funding is still available for these type programs. That means that someone has noticed that these type programs are working. And when they
Yes.
see something that's working, they like to keep it going as long as they can. And hopefully with the changes in the administration, we will still have these type of programs available to us without a break in service and stuff like that. And so, I'm very honored. And let me ask you this: so, is there a certain age criteria that this program caters to, or what?
Yes. So for our research, our participant research pool, our minimum age is 55. So 55 and older
Hmm.
is what we require to participate in our research studies. However, for our lunch and learn events, there's no specifications. They're open to anybody. of various ages, because you also have folks who may be caregivers. They might
Mm-hmm.
be looking for information for a parent or a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, and so they also attend our events. So when I'm looking back at our feedback evaluations, usually I'll see a nice variety when it comes, or a nice range when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to ages, because lots of folks are hungry for information.
True that. True that. What about any accommodations? We have people with disabilities of age that would like
Oh,
to participate. So, do we make any arrangements for them?
Yes. So one thing that I do when I'm looking at locations is I make sure that they are ADA compliant.
Great.
That means that there is a safe parking lot. We have accessible doors. We have accessible bathrooms, accessible, spaces that help prevent any situations, and
Mm-hmm.
also just maintain safety across the board.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
So
that's
that's
important.
that's one way. And then just to kind of expand upon that, one thing that we do try to do is we make sure that we have paper copies of information that is available. A lot of people like to take it with them. Sometimes we are in spaces that they may not have like a smart TV or a smart screen
Mm-hmm.
to use, and that's another reason why it's important that we have um, kind of multiple ways in which we're providing information at our events and making that accessible as well for
Okay.
folks. And then in terms of, our speaker systems or stereo systems, we do our absolute best to make sure that whoever is presenting can be heard.
Well,
And
it sounds like you
yeah.
guys got the gamut covered, and I'm really honored and appreciative. So, ladies, I've got to prepare to run, and I want to thank you both so much for coming to join me today. And we look forward to attending, or I look forward to attending some of your events. So, I want you to hold that thought for me, and thank you so much, Wilma, and thank you so much, Amanda.
Pleasure
Okay,
was mine.
thank you. So,
thank
hold
Take
that.
care.
you.
Yep, thank you. Hold that thought.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
And I won't have to tell my kids, this isn't a drill.
Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always lock it up.
I try to keep up with what these young people is doing and knowing.
I was at work and I just got a text from a number that I didn't know.
I send him a text. He texts me back and say, "Who dis?" And I just thought that was the funniest thing.
The next few weeks, she just made fun of me, like would answer the door and say, "Who dis?"
Who dis?
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch. This isn't a workout video. It's about how LLS has helped blood cancer patients like me thrive, and how your donation can help countless others. Please give today at lls.org.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to run because they was on the road. Everything's always good. So we're going to ask them to come back. And if I didn't ask them to come back, I'm going to ask them to come back and join me again, okay? So as usual, if you have questions for me, you can always give me a call, 1-800-323-5336, or email me at marsha@justasktalkshow.org. As you know, I always say, if you have a question about a person with a disability or just a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. See you next time.